Hi there, my name's Jasmine and welcome to page 4 of my new channel, new sketchbook series, where I fill this sketchbook front to back with your suggestions. And we are just getting started, so now is the perfect time to follow along. Now, as usual, y'all came through with some really imaginative and creative suggestions. Every week, I feel like I'm perpetually astounded by the ideas that you come up with. Now, if you couldn't already tell by the sketches I'm working on right now, or maybe the preview at the start of this video, let me go over the specific ideas and concepts I have to incorporate into this week's sketch. Raven Wallart suggested Josh Kirby's Discworlds, and here's the reference I'm looking at for that. Foxette111 very appropriately suggested foxes or fox people. Tom Noland, hi! You suggested the style of Aeon Flux. And last but not least, Daphne Darling put forth the idea of a gothic ballerina. So for those of you who made suggestions this past week, thank you so much. It's truly a joy for me to bring your ideas to life in these sketches. So with this week's sketch, y'all gave me two very distinct artistic styles, and then also two very different types of subject matter. So the first idea that popped into my head was fighting game, load screen, splash art. You know, Chun-Li versus the Mario Brothers. So I'm giving you Ballerina Warrior Princess with a circular serrated blade. In my head, her finishing move is that she's gonna pirouette and it's gonna slice and dice you to oblivion. And her rival is more of a soft, nurturing mage type character. It is an ethereal being who is not quite of this realm and who disarms foes with its magical summoned fox familiars. Y'all know I love a little bit of alliteration. I have been really into limited color palettes recently, so once I've finished doing my line work with Micron pen, I'm using alcohol markers to lay down a base coat of colors, and I'm going to use a complementary color palette of blue and orange. My thought is that this will lead to a very energetic composition and play into the whole idea of these being two oppositional forces. I will say really quickly that I do regret the placement of the background colors. I wish I would have given the ballerina an orange background and the fox summoner a blue background. As it is, it's a little bit too samey. Ooh. Really quick, I just want to pop in here and say that this is meant to be a very collaborative series. So if there's any ideas that you have for imagery, techniques, or mediums that you want to see me attempt in this sketchbook, be sure to leave those ideas in the comments and I will do my best to incorporate them into next week's drawing. But with that, let's get back to sketching. Now I do want to say that every week I'm trying really hard to improve the quality of these videos. I am listening to the feedback I'm receiving and trying to slow down the pace of these videos to give you something very satisfying and relaxing. I tried my best to pick up the scribbly, scratchy sounds of my drawing utensils on the paper, but alas, my microphone decided to focus on the jet engine-like whirring of my very old laptop revving up its propellers to fly into orbit. So unfortunately, you'll have to forgive me for the lack of ASMR, but I'll try to do better next week because you deserve those squeaky marker noises. I really liked how this shiny latex turned out. You know Miss Thing has that slathered in baby oil, as any true warrior princess would. And with the tutu, I'm trying to play with opacity as if this is a sheer tulle fabric. By the way, you guys, I tried to match my makeup to the drawing. What do we think? Don't look too close. You know, it's about 90 degrees here. You can probably see the sweat gathering on my brow. It's a messy makeup day, okay? But we tried. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, which, by the way, if you haven't, go check them out, wink wink, you will know that I've been trying to push myself to draw as much as I can with more permanent materials. At this point in the drawing, I have not used a single material that is capable of being erased. The initial sketch was done in pink ballpoint pen. After that, the line work was in Micron ink pen, and all of the rendering is in alcohol marker. And there is a reason for that beyond being too lazy to draw with and then erase graphite pencil. When you remove the possibility of erasing mistakes, it forces you to build line confidence with the marks you're making on paper. And line confidence can really be what separates an average drawing from a great drawing. When we marvel at the work of masters, one of the things that we are struck by is how easily and effortlessly they describe a complex form with a few intentional marks on the paper. And to be clear, that is definitely not where I'm at right now. If you look close enough at my footage, you'll see all the areas where I'm hesitating to make a mark. But in the name of self-improvement, I'm doing uncomfortable things, and with every permanent mark on this paper, I gain a little bit of confidence in the abilities of my hand. I do allow myself to go in with colored pencil for the final touches on this sketch. So I'm just giving pops of brightness where I feel like I need it, defining the shapes that I feel like got lost, primarily using highlights. I feel like this would be the perfect time in this drawing process to use acrylic markers. I see all the art content creators using those, but unfortunately I do not have any and I've never used them. Who knows, maybe someday I will grow to the point where I get one of those sponsorships. You gotta keep your aspirational pipe dreams, you know? This was a really fun sketch. I feel like I'm seeing my sketches every week get a little bit more adventurous in the shapes and poses and just how I'm using up the space of the paper. This is my first time ever drawing in a bound sketchbook like this, so it's really fun to think about how you can use the whole spread as the composition. I really love this ballerina, so thank you so much for the suggestions of Eon Flux and a gothic ballerina. I don't know if I successfully emulated Josh Kirby's style, but I did try my best, and the foxes were also really joyful to draw. And let me know, do you think I successfully conveyed the fighting game splash art motif? Which one would you choose in a battle? But with that, we get to tend to our to-do list. So our fantastical summoner takes care of Josh Kirby's Discworld. The gaunt, stylized warrior princess in latex takes care of Aeon Flux. And we can't forget our cuddly, sweet fox familiars. And here is our, maybe not gothic, but alternative ballerina. Alright, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. As a quick reminder, this is meant to be a very collaborative and interactive series, so if you have anything that you want to see me draw next week, be sure to leave those in the comments, and I will do my best to accommodate your wishes. And one last little thing, be sure to hit that subscribe button down there. Right down there, you know the spot. Be sure to subscribe so that you can follow along and see what happens next week. And I can't wait to see you there. But that's all for now. Mwah.